I'm here.
Can you hear me
Hi.
now?
Yeah, I can now. Hi, buddy.
Hey, it's my effing day to have damn problems.
Okay, good. I'll take it. Hi, buddy.
Yeah. Oh, it's always something, brother.
I
What's
don't.
cooking? How's your
I don't drink, right? I mean, I will. I'm not like above it. I just don't because I don't like the way it makes me feel. And last night, Derek Barry, one of my best friends in the world, the guy who brought me into this universe, took
yeah.
me to dinner at this fancy sushi place, and it's like I don't whatever who knows what he spent, but you get into this sushi place and then they put you in a room, and it was me and Derek and then a couple other business partners of Derek's, and it was sponsored by some fancy whiskey company, and I do not drink whiskey. That's ever
Okay.
like that doesn't happen because it makes me not give a crap, and it makes my wife super sensitive about everything. So she's like, my dad didn't come home from work till like late at night when I was in third grade one night, and I'm like, no one freaking cares, and so that's a horrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah, so this thing's sponsored by whiskey and by this whiskey company, and it's a whiskey tasting. And every time I've ever done a tasting, like tequila tasting, I love tequila. It's like these tiny little things, and these
Mhm.
were not tiny. These were like big gulps of whiskey.
Country
So
club
like,
shots.
yeah, and so I'm hurting today. Living on. My wife was nice enough to get me a Mexican Coke and some Adderall, and that's what we're living on. So.
How do you like Adderall? I've
I
heard good
hate
things.
it.
I've never had one. You don't? You
No,
don't like it?
no. I only take Adderall. I would say 2 weeks of the year, and that's this 2 weeks. So so tomorrow's the last day of open enrollment, right? So this is our
Okay.
biggest. You know this, like you and I've been in constant contact because of it.
Yeah.
So I have 40. I basically have 50 agents written this week, and those 50 agents have written $2 million worth of business so far. Today's the last day. We'll write probably another, hopefully $700,000 worth of business today, which just means we get to help a bunch of people. My wife is bouncing back and forth, number one in the country. So she's at $250,000 in AV written this week. She should be over 350 by the end of the day. 3 of the people in the top 10 in the country are in my office right now. And we're beating agencies that are 3 and 4 times bigger than us. So,
Hell yeah. When do you mean bigger? More agents?
yeah, like 3 or 4
So you do more volume than their larger
I do more
agent.
volume per person,
Yep.
3 times more volume per person than they do.
So are they really bigger then? Sounds like you're bigger, bro, on the shit that
Yeah.
counts.
So you probably don't know this about me. I hold the record for the most insurance sold by one individual in a week. So it was $530,000 in business written in 1 week.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
not terrible at all.
it's something I'm very proud of.
On your own? Just on your own pen?
Yeah, just on my wife was sitting right next to me, and so she was being an assistant and helping.
Yeah.
Basically, I would pitch, get everything ready, put their name and email address in, and I go, you know what? I got another call. Is it okay if I just hand the phone over to my wife and she would punch the numbers?
Oh yeah. How many apps is that? 530 grand.
How many
apps?
So an app is typically between 3,000 to 20,000.
Got it. Okay.
But I will say that it's not like I had to pitch and close however many apps that is in a week, right? These are people I've been working with the whole year. So, that week was mad.
Everybody else has the same opportunity, bro.
Yeah.
They get the whole year to damn work with people too, and they ain't writing that kind of volume.
Right.
Well, I got a reason why you're a boss.
Yeah. I really am the GOAT at this.
No shit. You almost tried to walk yourself out of it right there.
Yeah. No, I am. I would say, I'm on, Kobe talks about being on Goat Mountain, right? So, there's a few people out there that are right beside me, and maybe even like a step or two that I would, on that mountain a little higher than me. My hero started a year before me. His name's Jesse Fabricant. I hate him with all of my heart. The nicest, kindest, most amazing person you'll ever meet. But I hate you until I beat you, and then we can be friends, right? And so he was, when I first started, he was like the first guy to do these like crazy numbers. And when I first started, we were doing all face to face. And have I told you the story?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I have or no?
No, I don't know this one.
So I first started, we were doing all face to face, and I went to Derek, and I'm like, I can't make more than $3,500 a week. Like I can't. And he's like, well, what do you mean? I go, well, I got this little smart car, and I'm driving all over the state of Texas. And I'm working, 16 hours a day, driving around in circles. And like, there's just too much time between these people. And he's like, well, that Jesse Fabricant guy's doing it. And so I reached out to him, and he was kind enough to reply. I said, I don't remember if I called him, it was 5.5 years ago. And I was like, hey, I think he got on the phone with me. And I was like, I don't understand how you're doing so much business. Like I'm just driving in circles all over the place. And he's like, I've never been to anybody's house. I was like, you never been to anybody's house? How do you do it? He's like, I do it over the phone, and I'll just do a screen share. And I was like, okay, well, I'm coming after you. And he's like, okay, cool, man. Whatever. People say that all the time. So I walked into Derek's office, and I was like, that Jesse dude, he doesn't go to people's houses. And he's like, that's cool. I go, I'm never going to anybody's house again. And he's like, okay, that's cool, which is pretty much what Derek says to me. And yeah, I mean, like, I went from, selling 35,000 a week in AV to 80,000 a week in 1 week, just from changing that.
Simple change.
And then when I was in my prime, I was writing, averaging 100 to 150,000 a week every week. So,
what do you write different this time of year than you write the rest of the year?
What do you write different? What do you mean?
Yeah.
What makes today different?
Dude, I only know my word. Yeah. Like, no, the AEP. No. This time of year. This is open enrollment, whatever you called it. I don't know.
What is that? Yeah. So ask the question again. I didn't know.
So you write a ton of insurance this period of time, this year. What do you write the rest of the year that makes this time of year so special?
Okay. So what makes it special is that the government said it was special, but it's not. A lot of people accuse me of selling one product, and that's just because they don't know me, and they don't know my agency. They don't read my reviews. Those are just, trolls.
Yeah.
But the truth is we sell, to me, there's 3 real types of insurance, and everything else is dangerous. Okay. Group plans. I do not sell those, but I help people get into them, and I do that a lot. Obamacare, we probably sell more Obamacare than, you're gonna have a hard time finding an agency that writes more Obamacare than we do. And most people think I don't. And then if it's right for you, underwritten is the third, right? And if it's right for you, then you can have a plan. And there's some really great ones, like the ones that I have my family on, that I try to get my clients on. There's some really good ones, and there's some really junk ones. We don't sell the junk ones. And so those are the 3 main things. And we help people in all 3 of those, of the real policies. We don't do junk. Now, the group plans you can do any time of year. The underwritten you can do any time of year. And the Obama stuff, you can mostly do it any time of year. Some people we got to play some games with or build them something to patch them back to Obamacare. But for the most part, you can sell anything all year. You can sell any of the good things all year long.
What can you only sell right now, today? Like, what's open enrollment? What's different? What can you only sell during open enrollment, though?
Basically, the idea behind open enrollment is it's like accident forgiveness day, meaning from November 1st to December 15th, if in the marketplace, you're allowed to pick a new plan. Also, the government, the way those plans work is they automatically die on January 1. So everyone who's in a plan, most plans die on January 1. So tomorrow night at midnight, that deadline to get into that ends.
Okay.
And so why is it so busy right now? Well, one, the government has spent billions and billions and billions of dollars telling people that they have to do it by then. And two, if they don't get it by tomorrow night at midnight and their policy ends on January 1, they don't have health insurance.
And they can't buy it then.
Correct.
Oh.
Now, when a Democrat is in office, they have a second open enrollment that goes till January 15th that'll let you start for February 1st. So we'll have another bump the first 2 weeks of January, and then we go back to the real world. But I've just, I personally, when I first came in and when I talk to people, they're like, well, this is the slow season and this is the big season. And I don't I've never had a slow season. I have big seasons, but I've never had a slow season.
Yeah. I've always wondered that because I see people in the health space and they're like, I only work 6 weeks a year. And then the rest of the year, my understanding limited was like, they have to service clients the rest of the year.
That happens too.
Yeah.
So if you're only doing ACA, that's pretty much it. So I have a team in my office that only does ACA, right? Because I don't want people writing, I don't want anyone writing a policy for someone if they're not an expert at that policy. Life insurance, and correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm just ignorant, but life insurance kind of goes like this for the most part. John, how old are you? How much do you want to leave your kids when you die? It's this much money. And who cares what company it goes through, right? Right.
It's almost all the same. There's slight variations in benefit, certainly slight variations in pricing. It doesn't but at the end of the day, if you die, it pays.
Right.
Like if you die, they all pay. Granted, some asshole's probably watching and going, not if it's in the 2-year period where they find something wrong. I get it. You know what I mean? Like there's always that piece. But for the most part, dude, if someone dies, it pays out.
Right. Well, health insurance is wildly MFing complicated. Yeah. I would say, I'm lucky enough to be famous in this world, which means I'm lucky enough to talk to people all over the country. And I'm going to piss some people off. But the truth is, I know maybe 20 people outside of my offices who know what the hell they're talking about. Now, I'm not saying there's only 20 people. I'm saying I only know 20.
You don't know any. Yeah. Amen.
Right. And I know a lot. I know more than the average bear. And so I love that. That's what I love about it. The first company I ever built was a lawn mowing company. Now it was the biggest one in Texas, but every 10-year-old with a lawnmower was my competition. And I just feel like even the people who sell the same products I do, they're not my competition because they're just regurgitating some BS that the person before them told them. They don't truly understand
the moving parts. Yeah, I can see that. Hell, I don't even understand my own insurance, and I'm in insurance, and I don't understand. I just did that open enrollment crap through Integrity and had to pick stuff, and I'm like, dude, I don't even know what any of this shit means. Hell, I should have called you, but I'm like, And then I get emails about damn co-pays when my kids go to the doctor and in network and out of network, and I'm like, bro, can I just pay the bill, please? What are we doing?
Yeah. And that's another thing that makes us special is that, we have a team of customer service people that used to run the customer service department for United, used to run the customer service department for Aetna, used to run the customer, these people make a lot of money just to take care so that our clients never call insurance companies. I don't want my clients sitting on hold for 45 minutes and get transferred overseas to some guy who says his name is Tony. It's clearly not Tony.
Yeah.
And so, what we do, I think is different. There's people out there who are similar, but we just genuinely do not have an agenda with anyone other than to help them because nothing matters but the client. The agents don't matter. My family doesn't matter. I don't matter. The client matters. And when the client is the only thing that matters, everything else gets taken care of.
Yeah. Pretty simple concept, dude.
Yeah.
I love it.
In a wildly complicated world.
Yeah.
So, anyways,
I love it.
That's what I love about it.
Good stuff. It's neat getting a little sneak peek behind your curtain. We're watching. It's cool.
Yeah, I like it. I love what I do. I love all the things that we're doing to make it better. I was thinking the other day, I saw like a TikTok or something of yours, and you were you were talking about, people read a book and then they don't do anything about it. Right.
Yeah.
I'm sure you recorded that 6 years ago.
Yeah. I don't know when that was, but I'll give you another example. It's still, what's funny is like, I was at an event. I went to Cody's. I was in Dallas this week. So I went to Cody's, speak at an event there. And then I had I went to Integrity's corporate office and met with a few people there to go over some just meetings and business stuff, whatever. And
Sure.
Cody always says this thing where like, if you write down your goals every day, you have like a 900% more chance of achieving them. It's a really basic concept. Write down your goals every day, they're more likely to come true. Believe it, don't believe it, whatever. Some dude did a study, I guess, and made up a stat, or maybe it's true. Who the hell knows?
Right.
But you tend to hear successful people talk about stuff like that pretty often. I don't do them daily, but I am a goal guy. I certainly think about it. There's zero chance I write mine daily. I'm not that guy, but I do make them every year. I do enjoy that piece, and I really enjoy checking them off when I hit them. That's fun. But I opened the event, and everybody was excited out of their mind when he said that. And I was like, I have a question. And there was maybe 75 people in the room. And I'm like, how many of y'all have heard Cody say that before? That works, right? And everyone in the room raised their hand. And I said, all right, keep your hand up if you actually do it. And 3 people kept their hand up. The whole room put their hand down. And I'm like, so every one of you knows a way to hit your goals. Like, and I said, and the next thing I said, do any of you think Cody's lying, first of all? Or do you believe him? They were like, no, we believe him. And I'm like, so you all believe it works, and yet you don't do it. So you have the information to achieve your goals, and you still choose not to do it. And I'm like, so what's going to make any of the rest of us? Why should the rest of us even speak here? Because if we're going to tell you what it takes to achieve success in your field, and you're going to choose to not do it, my opinion is you should all get up and just leave right now. And that seems to be a very common thing, is that people hear what it takes to win, and they still don't fucking do it. And I don't know how to crack that. It drives me insane, though.
I think humans suck. But also, I think we talked about this before. I don't think you and I are human. We're superhuman. We're metahumans. But I mean, I think everybody's capable of it. They just don't.
Yeah.
I let a kid go yesterday. And I was like, listen, man, you don't get that what we do will either save people's lives or kill people. Right? I mean, if you do the wrong thing to someone, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not, I go, you don't care about, like, you think you care, like you worked at Taco Bell or whatever before here. Yeah. And the amount of care that you have here is wildly more than it was at Taco Bell.
Yeah.
But I don't trust my clients with you, and you got to go. I don't trust the safety of my clients for you.
Yeah.
I told you last week. Go ahead.
No, finish your thought. Go ahead. Finish your thought.
I think I talked about it last week about that I have 2 jobs.
I've heard this.
I'm a gazelle herder for my lions.
Yes. Yep.
And I hire liars. Yeah.
Yeah. We do hire liars. Fuck. It's funny, like, sometimes I talk about, all the time I talk about activity, like putting in work. And for me, it was like, different people have different skill sets. Like, you're really good at what you do, and I'm a complete moron at what you do. Right. But I'm really good at what I do.
And I'm a complete moron.
And like, I'm glad you said it. I didn't want to be mean to you, but yeah, kind of. That's how it works. So what I learned, man, is a lot of people have different skill sets. And I think that those that are not successful are always trying to copy too many different skill sets. And not that that's a bad thing. I think trying to learn your skill set's an awesome thing, right? Sure. It's going to take a while to get there. So nobody can get there today or tomorrow or this week or next week. There's zero fucking chance. Right. And I think there's a misconception that people can if they hear just the right thing on this podcast, for instance. Right. And they'll have some, and I was that guy. I was chasing skill set stuff. And my message to them was like, I noticed that the people with really good skill sets, although very different skill sets, what they all have in common is they work really fucking hard.
Right.
So I was like, why am I trying to figure out which of these 97 skill sets to choose from when the one commonality is working really hard? That's the only thing that, if you put 20 of us in the room, I bet that's the only thing we all have in common. There ain't much else. You know what I mean? Maybe some small thing, minor details. And so for me, it was like, my path was like, why don't I just take that one thing, forget all the other stuff for right now? Like, not that it's not important. I'll just get to it later. You know what I mean? And I was like, not to be a dink. Y'all know the stats. Cody says 92% fail in the first year. I say 92%, if that's even the number, quit. They don't fail. They literally just quit on themselves and give up. And in that room, I was like, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but y'all are really easy to outwork. The average insurance agent I'm speaking to right now, you're really easy to outwork. You know what I mean? So for me, I was like, if that's all I got to do is outwork my peers, I'm 100% becoming successful. You know what I mean? Right. And then all those skill set things for me came later through the activity. And I don't know how to do it any differently. You know what I mean? So I do talk a lot about activity, and I want to tie together what you said a second ago about like where clients matter. And if you don't do the right thing, it affects people. Every time I post something about like, and I know y'all don't dial quite the way I do. You have a very different lead flow. Your world's different. You wouldn't do what I do in terms of like triple down on people. And
we have people who do what you do.
Yeah.
We have people who do.
But, and some people need to, you know what I'm saying? Like if you don't have another way to acquire clients, which I didn't, where I had to call people. And every time, yesterday was one of the days, but every time, and on my LinkedIn earlier in the week, every time I post something about high activity, high dials, I posted one this week about making 700 dials in a day. And dude, I got lit up on LinkedIn about how much of a dipshit I am and how mean I am to people. And I'm rude and I'm terrorizing people, all this crazy shit. And there was one on Instagram. There was one on Instagram yesterday, and it was about a triple dial thing. And I was blasted for like shady 90s sales techniques and all this weird shit. And I'm like, well, one, thank you for adding to like the algorithm, get me more action. It's helpful. But two, what I always say, bro, is like, there's some of y'all that, and maybe those ones aren't watching, so forward this to them. Those that think I'm a dick, which I am in some ways, to be clear. But in this way, my actual thought process is, dude, a lot of y'all out there have leads from clients, especially in my world, but definitely in yours, even your world, my world or your world. In my world, where you have the lead, you called them non-aggressively because it was mean, what John said.
Right.
And then they fucking die while the lead's sitting in your damn email. Or they get cancer before they get coverage.
Yep.
And then I always say, let's pretend the client had the choice. And after the fact, they die, they get cancer, whatever it is. And we could go back and we could go, hey, we have a question for you. That asshole over there, he said it was rude to call you 9 times. So he didn't. I was willing to call you 9 times. If we could go back in time before you died or got the cancer, and you had the choice for someone to call you 9 times or call you once to make sure you got the coverage you wanted, which one would you pick?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's no chance the client would be like, nah, it'd have been rude, man. I wish you didn't call me. You know what I'm saying?
In my world, the way I put it is, you know, I want to be clear that I'm not saying everyone who doesn't work with me is bad, right? I'm certainly not saying that. Yeah. I'm just saying the majority of them are. And so because they just like, I know, like, you remember we were talking, like the people were saying Perry does this, this, and this. And I'm like, well, that's cute that you care, but you're full of shit. You just don't know what you're talking about. You're just regurgitating what someone else told you so that you could try to sell against me. And I'm not trying to sell against anybody. I'm trying to help the client. So like with the meeting that we had before this, where I'm like, guys, I need 14 hours from you today and 14 hours from you tomorrow. And then I want you to sleep all day Saturday. And then we have this big Christmas party on Saturday night, right? Just give it to me. And here's the thing. If you don't help them, someone else will. And you can't trust the person that you don't know, the person that's going to help them. And I know for a fact that if you're in this room, you can be trusted. and you don't know for a fact that whoever they talk to next is going to trust you. Like I got a 1-star review from somebody. It was only there, and then I replied, and they deleted it. I don't get very many, but this one was like, they sold me this, and it had this, and then I went to this other agent, and he sold me a better Obamacare plan for $500 a month cheaper. And my reply was, well, first off, thank you for the feedback. I really appreciate that. I've never seen an Obamacare plan that's $500 a month cheaper and better. I've seen cheaper insurance that's better, but I've never seen an Obamacare plan that the cheaper it gets, the better it goes. But I will tell you that the cheaper it gets, the smaller the or the cheaper the plan, and the smaller the network, and the crappier the insurance, the more the commission is for the agent. So you do what you want to do, boo. And they deleted it.
It's funny,
but
people are funny, man. It's an interesting dynamic, and yet at the same time, I love it because you'll get a guy like I was talking to this dude in the hallway, and he got to speak at the event this time. The last time he was just there, and we chatted, and he's around some good people. He's smart, that he gets in good circles, but it's neat to see like conversations that you have like in a hallway at an event where people ask really good quality questions. And this dude doesn't even work with me. He definitely should, because I could help him more, but he doesn't, which all good. I'll help him either way because I like him. And he was like, man, last time we spoke it was like a year plus ago, and they implemented some things that we talked about in the recruiting side, and their agency's doing like $350 a month now, you know? And he's like, man, I love it, but now we're stuck. I don't know how to get to $1 million a month. I'm like, well, dude, getting to $1 million a month ain't the same path as getting to $350 a month, bro. Totally different game. You know, we start talking about some of the things.
For a long time. I got stuck there.
Me too, dude. Yeah, it's an interesting stage. You know, it's like, yeah. So we start talking.
One of the things that helped me get through that was spending time with you, though, John.
I love it.
Just opening.
I'm pretty damn good at that piece. I'm bad at a lot of stuff.
You made it through. Yeah. Right. And sometimes it just takes talking to somebody who's been through, made it through. Yeah. And even if they don't have the answers, just knowing that they did, and they can, those little bitty things, at least for people like you and I, right? Yeah. So we were talking about what do we have we don't have much in common, right? Well, here's what we have in common. Here's what you and me and Joe and Cody, right? Here's what we do have in common. When it's one thing to have an idea, I want to achieve this, but it's a long process often to figure out what it is you need to do it. Yeah. But most people, when they figure it out, they don't do it. So like with me, like I'm like, one day I got pissed off and I'm like, screw it. I'm going to open my own advertising agency. And 3 weeks later, I had a full staff. We were incorporated. It was profitable in 2 weeks, right? We just do it. You and I'll sit at dinner and I go, well, I don't know Marco Polo, but I know TikTok, right? Next day we have it.
Implement quick.
Yeah. And that's what you have, you and me and Joe and all the other, people in Joe and the Wizards group here do. That's the difference is you have an idea.
AKA Tony, for those that are wondering.
And I like Wizard. He just kind of looks like one.
I know I like Wizard too, but I was just letting the people know who you were talking about.
But that's the difference, though. That's what we have in common. Everything else, nothing. Like Joe and I don't have shit in common, but we have that in common.
Yeah, it's true. Implement fast. That's the first Joe. That might be the first time Joe's heard that from you. I was with Tony. Tony was out there, so I got to spend some time with Tony yesterday or whatever day it was. Shit, it wasn't yesterday. Tuesday.
Yeah.
Monday night and Tuesday. He's one of my favorite people. I like Tony a lot. He's a doer.
Good dude, man. Love him.
Yeah. So it's fun. I enjoy this piece because you get to meet really cool people in the industry trying to do cool things. And what's neat is I've learned, dude, there's people printing money in every line of this business and helping people do the same in every line and for the most part, most companies, it's like, there's just so many people stuck looking for the next shiny thing. And I'm like, maybe you are stuck with an idiot and that's not good. But if you're doing really good things activity wise and you're working your ass off, it'll be recognized. And asking for help from people that are further than you is pretty easy to get when you're putting in the work. You know, it's frustrating as shit when you don't do the work, because I don't even want to have the conversation. But I can
and when
have
you're not, it's hard to get.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. And so my point is, if you're in a spot where you're blaming the upline ain't supporting me, well, dude, are you adding any value to anyone in life at all to deserve damn support? You know, you doing what it takes on your end to receive it. And it's a lot of people aren't, man. And I was that way once too. Like when I was new, I was that way. I wasn't putting in what it took. And I left I quit the industry a couple times, let's switch up line. I've done that crap. And I'm like, and it didn't really matter because I wasn't doing any of the work anyway, you know, at that stage. So it's like, man, sometimes you gotta look yourself in the mirror, bro. As you know, I think you froze, so I'll just keep talking to you, unfreeze. You know, I think sometimes we gotta look in the mirror. And for me, I always say, like, when I realized I was the damn problem in this whole equation, I very quickly became the solution to all my problems, you know. And then from there, it's go ahead. Please go ahead.
Right.
No, you're unfroze, man. I'll let you go.
So,
roll.
Yeah, right. Thanks for monologuing while I got lost.
You got it. You got it.
So the first company I ever built, my goal was to build a company that ran itself. Did I tell you that before?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I wanted to build a company that I didn't have to work, right? And I built it, and it worked. It was great. And then when I was done, I was like, wow, I was remarkably lazy. You know?
Yeah.
I did a lot of wakeboarding. And then, you know, when I built the gyms, I worked really hard. My wife gets mad at me because I always say I was lazy there. And I was like, I tell my wife, I would go, we lost the gyms. I probably would have lost them either way, but I was lazy. And she's like, Perry, I never seen anybody work as hard as you. I don't like it when you say that. And I'm like, yeah, man, I could have worked harder. It's like the end of Schindler's List when he's sitting there. He's like, this watch, this is 2 people, and this ring is somebody I could have saved, right? And that's the way I felt when I left my last company. And I was like, that is a feeling that I will never have again. I put a post on Facebook this week that says somebody said they tried as hard as they could. I'm like, you didn't try as hard as you could. I've never, like, if you didn't throw up and pass out on the side of the road, you didn't try as hard as you can. Now, I'm not suggesting you should go until you throw up and pass out. I'm just saying, let's not lie to ourselves and to other people and say that you tried as hard as you can. Because you can always try harder.
Bro,
always,
my son, my son is my 16-year-old. Did I tell you about him failing Spanish? I think you were sick when I talked about it. He's failing a Spanish class.
I got one of those.
Which is really bad given he's fucking Dominican. You know what I mean? It's like, and he didn't, you know, it's like half or whatever percent he is. His family, you know, his mom's grandfather's side or whatever is Dominican.
That's
but they weren't raised.
Son.
Yeah, they weren't speaking growing up. So that's my help for him for his excuse or whatever. Right. But regardless, you know, whether it's Spanish or it was damn history, I don't care. He's not putting in a ton of effort, you know,
right.
And he's kind of like resigned to the fact that he's not good at this particular subject, and the teacher's mean to him, and he gives them worse grades than the other kids, even though just he's very excuse driven, right? And I'm like, bro, can you do me a favor, please? Like, you know how little I want to hear from your teacher and your mom and all the shit I got to deal with for you. Can you please just fix it? Can you just make it go the fuck away, please? Just, dude, I don't care if you get a 72. Just pass, bro. And so he goes, okay. And the next week, the teacher calls me again. He's fucking missed a extra study thing and all this stuff. I bring him home and I'm like, dude, are you really going to like make me like ground you and take stuff away? Like, do we have to go through this annoying process? Like, I don't want to, but I will if that's what you think will work. I don't know. Bro, you tell me. You're 16. Like, I'm over it already. And he goes, we're all human. We all forget things. I said, bro, if you give me one more stupid excuse, I'm going to want to hit you. like really. And I'm not that, but I was like annoyed. And he goes, I'm doing the best I can. I was like, oh my God. I said, dude, your mom has said you're not trying. Your teacher said you're not trying. I've said you're not trying. People who want you to do well are giving you advice and you're refusing to take it. Can you do me a favor? Can you redefine what the word best means? Because I'm telling you, what you're saying is your best is not your best. Please. You know, and it just, what you said a second ago, like triggered that, you know,
Right.
and I'm glad we're similar in that way, because I know you would have the same conversations. I'm like, bro, it ain't your best. Stop it.
No,
You know,
I've had
man.
the exact same conversation about Spanish. The
Are you
exact.
serious?
Oh yeah. The only difference is, so my version of it is exactly yours. His version of it is very different from your son. My son wouldn't do that. My son's problem is that he thinks he's figured out life, and the truth is he's more right than most people, and that is he knows that Spanish in high school doesn't matter.
Agreed.
He knows that. And so, but he would never say he's trying his hardest. Now, where I get mad is I go, first off, I know you love football, and if you fuck this up, football's gone, right? Number two, I love your mother. His mom is my ex-wife. I don't want to hear from her about this bullshit. Like, make a 70. I don't care, but I have enough going on in life that I don't want to deal with your bullshit that you're inventing for me.
Yeah.
Just get through it.
Yeah. I asked Braden how he'd feel if I forgot to pay his tuition and he was forced to go to public school. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, it's weird, bro. You never forget to take the car I gave you and drive it to school and accidentally walk.
So that's why my son's in public school. Because he was doing that in private school. And I go, I'm done. I'm not going to pay for this.
Yeah.
I'm not paying for you to go to school at a place that you don't care.
Yeah. We'll find out. He had a makeup thing yesterday. He's supposed to have his final today, but the school effing moved it because he also had, I think, chemistry today. And they were like, we don't want to have him have to study for 2 tests in one day. And I said, wait, so the rest of the school has 2 tests in one day, but you're moving my kids to make it easier for him to pass? So y'all are way nicer people than me, dude. I'd flunk them. Yeah. Like, what the hell?
Yeah. I mean, the only reason I care if he flunks is because it makes my life harder.
Correct. That's my whole point of it, is that I'm like, and my point and how that relates here is some of y'all are the same effing equivalent of my son right now in your career. And you call me or Perry and bitch and moan about stuff. And I'm like, seriously? Like, you're not doing your best.
What's going on that people think it's okay to call John and bitch and moan?
Well, yeah.
People are scared to call me.
They don't anymore, but it's the history throughout building this thing. Now no one will. I mean, I've had a no complaining rule for probably 6-7 years, you know. So now what happens is now, you know what happens now is they just tell other people how much they hate me because I'm so mean, or they'll send Amanda an email and be like, let John know I don't appreciate it. And I'm like, can you just delete it? Like, stop. And let's just move on with our day with the people that are killing it.
Yeah, you have a lot bigger audience than I do. Bro, I'm still close enough to my audience that they love me with all of their heart and fear me.
No,
if they need to be.
A lot of people do, but there's some, bro, that have been years, and I don't know. I just do my best to try to tell people the truth on what they need to change to win. And sometimes, as you know, people don't like being told the truth, and I probably don't deliver it perfectly, but you know, I want people to win, man, and some people don't like that.
I always talk about that your greatest strength is your greatest weakness, right? So what makes me great?
Yeah.
One of my greatest strengths is my greatest weakness is that I can shut off emotion on people like that. Yeah. So
And it's
Yeah.
very,
So
I can see how that's a weakness too. Yeah.
And so if you're coming in here and you don't do what, and you lied, right? You lied to yourself, right? And you said, I'm this, and then you come in and you're not that. And I go and I challenge you on it and you don't do anything about it. I just don't care about you at all anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I only have,
that's what makes people start hating me, because I've had to do that to a lot of people over the years.
well, it's not like I have a jar full of emotion. I can't put more in
Mental
it.
energy jar.
Yeah.
All about
And
that
so
one.
I just devote all of that mental energy to the people who are truthful to themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got some new kids in here now I have never been more impressed than I am with some of the people that have walked through these doors in the last.
You know what, dude?
Week.
I want to come to your office.
Yes, please.
Let's set up a day. I want to come. We can do this there. Speaking of which, we're doing this shit here. Where are we gonna do it next week in Atlanta? You gonna do it at my office, or what do you want to do?
Whatever, man. I've never been there.
No, I know.
I just want to absorb some John Wetmore, man.
I want to come there.
Yeah, I want you
come
to
see your crew. If I can help, I'll help. But maybe we'll set up a time where I can come there and hang out, meet your crew. We'll do it live.
That would
You
mean
might
a
have
lot
to get
to
better.
me.
You might need better internet by the time. Two of us in one spot, we might break it.
Well, right now I just moved all of my offices into one office for open enrollment.
I know you did.
Right.
I'm just
and so there's just so many people in here. And yes, Joe, you can come. There's so many people in here right this second. And there's just so much activity going on right this second. I mean, hopefully we've written 200,000 while we've been on this. So yeah,
this chaos ends tomorrow or today. Would you say today or tomorrow?
Ends at midnight 10 tomorrow night. But our weeks, our production weeks are Friday to Thursday. So this is
mine are too.
Today is all about production numbers. Tomorrow is all about feeding your family for Christmas.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, well, let's set it up. Let's plan a time. I'll bring the staff out so they can get with your staff. You know what I mean? Work a little closer together, figure that stuff out. Let's set something up.
We'll bring everybody in and let you give them some love and
live from the Lion's Den.
Yeah,
I'll even mix it up. Let's do it. I love it, dude. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you in a few days.
Yes.
And love working with you and love what we're doing. I got some ideas. I've been thinking a lot, dude. I haven't mentioned it yet. I got some ideas. Me and you are gonna do some dope stuff.
I want to. Yeah, you know what stresses me out about coming to see you next week? I feel like it's not enough time.
Yeah, I agree.
It's genuinely stressing me out because I'm like, okay, we got to get this, we need to talk about that. Oh my gosh, I really want to have this. Fuck, I just ran out of time. So
yeah. Well,
but the good news is
we do it more than once.
Mm-hmm. So, John, I appreciate you.
All right, brother. Appreciate you. We'll talk soon.
Joe, thanks for making this happen. Bye, guys. Have a beautiful day.
Later, y'all.